reacting to my 2023 AFL preseason predictions. And spoiler, didn't do too well. And now to grade how well I've done on these predictions, I'm going to do a scoring system where the more points, the worse, the less points, the better. And what I mean by points is that if I predicted Collingwood to finish 8th place at the start of the year, because they finished in 1st overall, I would get 7 points in total because there's 7 places difference between 1st and 8th place. And vice versa, if I guessed Hawthorn to finish 5th place and what they came in 3rd last, I would get however many points is between the places of 5th place and 3rd last. And if I get it dead on, I get 0 points. So the aim of this is to get a score as low as possible. Now I'm going to be doing these predictions, comparing them for where they finished at the home and away season, not after the finals, because GWS, Carlton, who finished 3rd, who finished 4th, because they both made the prelims. So just to make it a little bit more easier. So I've got my predictions here. I did them on TikTok, not on YouTube. Follow the TikTok, FTFooty. That's where I did my preseason predictions. So in last place, I went for Hawthorn, which was a pretty common prediction, Hawthorn coming in last place, or one of the bottom 3 spots, which they ended up doing. They did a lot better than what I predicted. Overall, that's 2 points added to the tally, which isn't the worst thing. But honestly, I was very surprised by how well Mitchell did with those young group of talents. An impressive season for Hawthorn. I expect them to keep going next year, but you're gonna have to wait for my preseason predictions next year. Make sure you stay tuned for that. So subscribe and ring the bell because that is coming. Now in second last, I went for North Melbourne. Bang on. Bang on. 0 points to my score is what we want to see. 2 points right now. Look, like Hawthorn and the team that I predicted to come next, they were sort of the conclusive bottom 3 teams before the season, and they are at the end of the season. But North Melbourne, relatively disappointing. They just scraped out of last at the end, so avoided the wooden spoon. But overall, very happy with that. Gone West Coast in 3rd last. In hindsight, should have known better. I'm definitely tipping them to come dead last unless they work magic in the trade window. Overall, really disappointing. Adam Simpson was disappointing. Now they've had heaps of players retire. Hearn, Shuey, Nick Nat, McGovern's gonna go, Barras is gonna go. So they're losing all their good talent. So concerning for West Coast, but overall only 2 points. That is now 4. Now in 15th, 4th last, I had, and this is the first of my many failures, I had Adelaide. Adelaide in 4th last. I didn't think that they would jump as much as they did. Obviously 4th last, is that an improvement from last year? I guess so, but I was completely wrong on that. Matty Nick's working magic, young talent. They really should have finished in the finals with that Ben Keys goal against Sydney, which was incorrectly given as a point. Nonetheless, 15th place, they actually finished in 10th place. That is a whopping 5 points added to my tally, which brings me to 9 points. Next up is one of my worst predictions, and a lot of people had them this low. GWS Giants, I've gone with them 14th. Kingsley's first full season as coach. Boy, oh boy, was I proven so wrong. Now, we all know they got to the prelims, but we are doing this from the end of the home and away season where they finished in 7th place. So that is a really bad prediction. 7 points added to my score. That is just gonna ruin me. The GWS prediction ruined everyone. I'm pretty sure the really common one was 11th to 13th. So I'm not alone in that prediction, but overall, adding 7 to my score brings me to 16 points now, which is just deplorable. In 13th place, I had Gold Coast. Not the worst shout. I didn't anticipate Stewie Doo to go at the start of the season, which obviously very much hurt them. They've got Dimmer now, so it's going to be really interesting to see, okay, was it the coach all throughout these years? Is it the players, the higher ups? Very interesting appointment there. Overall, Gold Coast did finish in 15th place, and I did have them for 13th, so that is only 2 points added to my score. Gold Coast were always going to finish relatively low down. In 12th place, I had Essendon finishing there, which I think is relatively accurate given their percentage and their general form. Now, Essendon did finish in 11th spot, so that's only 1 point added to the score, which I'm pretty happy with. So not too much damage done there. A pretty accurate prediction. Next year is going to be really interesting where I put them. I guess it's going to be interesting where I put all these teams. Overall, happy with that. Now in 11th place, I've gone for a team that made the finals who I didn't think deserved it, but they somehow did. It's St Kilda. I went 11th for St Kilda, which I think was a pretty respectable and more or less not outrageous statement. Their list wasn't convinced by it. I'm still not convinced by Russell Lyon. I think the game's past Carson personally, but he made finals, so he did prove me wrong. Now, St Kilda finished in 6th place after the home and away season, which is phenomenal. So that's 5 points added to the tally. So I'm on 24 points now, not looking too good. In 10th place, I was relatively good with this. I went for Sydney to finish in 10th. Well, they actually should have because of the Ben Keys goal for Adelaide, which was the point. So Sydney shouldn't have made finals. They would have finished around that 10th place. That is a pretty accurate prediction. Now, they did finish in 8th place. So that is still 2 points added to my score, but I'm not too mad about that given circumstances. You know, I guess I was not one of the few, but one of the not so many that had them falling way down the ladder. So that's another 2 points. That brings my tally to 26 points. Next up, in 9th place, on the fucking dot, I had the Western Bulldogs in 9th place. What do you expect? Ball knowledge too big. I knew Bevo couldn't hack it. I knew they had the list to make the 8, but I just had that feeling they would just miss out. I love predicting that sort of 9th to 11th place. You know, who just misses out in the finals? And Bulldogs was that team. That 0 points added to my tally. Very good prediction. The Dogs are always so hard to predict. One year, they make the grand final. The next year, they're back down to sort of around the 8 or just outside it. So it's always jumping. Like, they could well win the flag next year. You just don't fucking know. So that was my bottom 10 prediction. Overall, from those 10 places, I got a total of 26 points, which is, I guess, so far an average of 2.6 places difference between where I predicted to where they actually finished. So if you look at it like that, it's not too bad. All right, we go into the top 8 now. In 8th place, I went for Brisbane. Oh, geez, these next predictions aren't good. Yeah, I went for Brisbane. I think I might go them there next year as well. I'm not too sure. But overall, my reason for it was old talent, or I guess just old aging players. I just thought they would fall off. I didn't rate their defense, but they proved me wrong. They finished in 2nd place, making the grand final, which was very impressive. And overall, that adds 6 points to my score, which brings me to 32 points. Now, this is just as bad. I've gone Collingwood in 7th. That's another 6 points. They finished in 1st and they won the flag. So why? I thought that coaches of opposition teams would find McRae out, you know, work out his style, how to play around it and play through it. Proven wrong. 7th place, completely wrong. At least I had them in the 8. I don't know, saw a couple people have them outside the 8, which is fucking outrageous. So that's another 6 points to my score, which brings me to 38. I'm racking up the points now, but next I had a good prediction. In 6th place, I had Carlton. Now, Carlton finished in 5th place. So overall, I was pretty accurate with that one. I thought they would jump, but they wouldn't jump into that top 4. So look, 5th and 6th, they're relatively the same. Only 1 point added to my score, which brings me now to 39 points. Now, this might be my worst one. In 5th place, and you're probably thinking there's 3 teams who I have in the top 5 who didn't make the 8. In 5th, I had the Fremantle Dockers. Oh my God. Fremantle. They finished in 14th. That's 9 points added to my tally. Why did I have them in 5th? Trusted Longmuir, trusted the process, trusted Brayshaw, Sarong, their young talent. Should I have trusted them? Absolutely not. But 9 points added to my tally, which brings me far out, brings me to 48 points. That is not good. These top 5, my whole top 8, really, you'll see, there's only a couple good shouts in there. Never am I going to trust Fremantle again. Never, ever, ever. In 4th place, just as bad as Fremantle. I guess understandably, people had them in the top 8. I was one of them. I had Richmond in 4th, my team Richmond. I thought Dimmer would do it. Taranto, Hopper, 2 big midfielders. We needed 2 mids. I thought the signings were perfect. You know, those trades were exactly what we needed. Coming into the season, I was so confident. I was really, really confident. And then we lost to Gold Coast at home. We just lost games that I really thought we would have won. Now, Richmond finished 1 place above Fremantle in 13th. So that is another 9 points. Another 9 points added to my tally, which is, I think, equal worse, which is just such a bad call. But a lot of people made that call. I won't be putting Richmond anywhere near the top 8 next year, even if they sign the best 10 players. Top 3 now. In 3rd, I'm pretty happy with this. I went for Melbourne. Now, Melbourne finished in 4th place, so that's only 1 point added to my tally. Obviously, Melbourne were always going to finish top 4. Even injuries try to curtail their season, they got through it. So that's 1 point added. I'm now on 58 points. But the 2nd place prediction has ruined me again. Now, obviously, I haven't said the reigning premiers yet, and I had them in 2nd place. I had Geelong finishing in 2nd place. This is my worst prediction. Geelong finished in 12th place. Did anyone anticipate such a drop-off? No. Particularly me. I backed them. Second place. That's 10 points. Obviously, 12th place to second place is 10 points. That is probably the worst prediction I'll ever make. So I'm on 68 points now. Things are not looking good. But my first place, who I thought would finish first at the end of the home away season, I'm pretty happy with. And that was Port Adelaide. I had Port Adelaide finishing first. And I'm pretty happy with that. Now, they finished in third place overall. So that's only 2 points added to my tally. Brings me to 70. I backed Port Adelaide. I backed Hinkley. Look, I don't really back them actually, but I just backed their list. Overall, I'm really happy with that prediction. But that doesn't hide the fact that I got 70 points in total, which is just deplorable. What can I say? That's really bad. They were my 2023 AFL preseason ladder predictions. So I'm gonna do this every year and see if I can get less and less and less points. 70 points, first time doing it, I guess on film. I also went for, you can see, I went for Tom Lynch to win the Coleman. He had the most average goals per game, but he was just too injured. And then I went for Petrarca to win the Brownlow, which arguably should have happened, but I think he finished in 4th place, I believe. And then I went for Ashcroft as the rising star, and he got injured as well. So injuries have ruined me. Overall, they are my predictions. Let me know what you predicted at the start of the year, and if you do the maths for your scores, how many points did you get as well? Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video.